Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new TV show spoiler review here on Max Talks Movies. We're talking episode 3, season 2 of the HBO show Euphoria. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring the bell. Also, please, I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, this show every single Monday here on the channel. Also, please subscribe if you are interested in other movie reviews, TV show reviews like these, streaming platform reviews, movie rankings, and box office breakdowns, which will be coming out later in the day. So please subscribe, ring the bell if you're new to the channel. Also, please comment down below your spoiler thoughts on this episode and the first 3 episodes in general of Euphoria. And also, please like the video, the thumbs up button. Let's talk Euphoria. So, as you know, the last 2 weeks, this is just my opinion, the best show currently going on TV. It's absolutely mesmerizing to watch every single week from an acting point of view, from a writing point of view, from a cinematography point of view, from a direction point of view. So each and every Sunday night, I get excited watching this episode. If you're new to the channel, I've already done breakdowns of episodes 1 and 2 of this past season. So please, 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 if you have not checked those out, also either after or before this episode. So this episode is an origin story on Cal, Nate's dad, who gets a full backstory when he was in high school. So the first, I would say 15 minutes of the episode was just this, where Cal you kind of see his upbringing and how at times similar it truly can be sometimes to Nate. Not in the way of just sexuality, and Nate clearly, at this point, we actually don't know at this point, but Cal had a girlfriend, but also kind of fell in love with his friend, his very close friend. But you could see in a couple scenes how his parents and his father was just very demanding. It just wasn't a clear, great upbringing for Cal, where seemed like he got his girlfriend pregnant after graduation in high school. All these different things. And I thought Sam Levinson, who is the director and the creator of the show, one of the two creators, him and Zendaya, him describing this in the after the enter Euphoria aspect of the episode, saying how you might have hated him this episode and we're not trying to make him a likable character, but just trying to give you the full perspective on all these characters. And that's what TV really does. And that's what Euphoria has done the strongest, is that basically, for the most part, every single episode has a new origin story on one of the characters that we know. And it gives you a full mindset of who these people are, where they came from. And it puts you in the mindset of you understanding where they are at this point and what options or what things they're going to do currently because of what they did in the past. And this episode, you kind of got Cal, because we ended last week with a pretty big cliffhanger with Nate and his dad having the conversation about Nate knowing basically that he recorded him having sex with Jules, and how that becomes a factor, how, Jules told Rue, told Fez, which then led to Nate getting beat up, and Nate was kind of sticking up for him. But then Cal obviously saying that where are the tapes, and we know that Maddie has the tapes. Maddie really didn't have anything really meaningful to do this episode for the most part. She had some funny bits, but from a story point of view, nothing much until really the last 30 seconds of the episode, which we'll get to in a second. So this was Cal's episode. And then later in the episode with Cal goes to try to intimidate Fez, Ash, and Faye at their house. And Ash just beats the crap out of him, like a lot with the gun. You can see him bleeding behind me. And he kind of he kind of reveals that he had sex with Jules. Because if you remember, Fez really has no idea what happened, which is kind of makes this a really dark comedy scene, where it's super dark what's actually transpiring. Someone's getting beat over the head with a gun like 10 or 15 times. And they're explaining how they had sex with an underage girl on tape. But it's kind of a comedy way that Fez is kind of just standing there listening and taking this all in and not knowing why. Again, he beat up Nate because Rue knew that Nate put them in danger, but Rue didn't. I don't think Rue does not know that. If you remember season 1, Rue just told Fez, like, he can't be near the two of us. But Rue, of course, does not know that Cal is on tape. If I'm not mistaken, I don't believe she knows that. If she does, let me know in the comment section down below. But I did think it was super smart how this is how Fez learned, is from the dad. The dad kind of says everything. I taped her, all of this stuff. And Fez is like, I don't really care. Just don't come here again. And like, your family's a bunch of jerks, whatever it is. It was a really intense scene where Cal is just like letting it all out, thinking that everyone knows that this is a thing, but it's not. And Cal can't go to prison because stuff is going to come out and he can't do that. So all these different things are coming out. It's all about, again, for his character, really the season is, will Maddie release the tapes? I believe that could be a possibility. My thoughts have kind of changed possibly on that. We'll see that as I think she will at some point release them, but not for a while. I thought it'd be a lot sooner than it is because based on what happened with Nate at the end of the episode. So Cal's episode, they did a really good job expanding who he is as a person, where he's coming from. And one of the best scenes of the show thus far in this season, I mean, was Cal facing up to Fezco. What else happened this season is Cassie kind of waking up 4 a.m. every morning. Really great sequence where she wakes up every morning, 4 a.m. and she wants to look as perfect because she's in love with Nate and just wants Nate to notice her at school. And they go through I think it's 3 consecutive days, doesn't notice her. Then Nate gives her a little glare. She kind of gets excited, goes to the bathroom. And that's where I was so shocked because basically it's a scene where it's basically in her head, Cassie wants to let everything out. And this is where Maddie's in the room, that she's in love with Nate and all these different things. And you at the time think that Cassie's actually saying this out loud in the bathroom, but she's not. Which was a great twist because at the time my jaw was on the ground. I couldn't believe Cassie was saying everything about I'm in love with Nate and I need to know this stuff. And I know you're with whatever this stuff is. And it was amazing delivery from Sydney Sweeney. And then we learned that it was all in her head. That's what she wanted to say. And she just stood there in silence. Unbelievable stuff. But that's how much she really is falling for Nate, that she wakes up every morning, 4 a.m. and takes a couple hours every morning just to get ready. We learned at this episode that every Friday she would go over to Nate's house and do, some rated R stuff with Nate. But obviously we'll get to the episode next. So a lot of this episode had also to do with Rue, who is trying to begin a new, drug dealing, I guess, plan where she's basically paying people to sell it's a unique plan. And that's a lot of this episode, but it's also the combination of the 3 characters. So Rue and Jules seem very back on page for the most part this episode, talking about everything. And it became kind of not I guess you could call it a quote unquote love triangle, as Storm Reed is also back. We had one of the funniest scenes of the whole show where Zendaya is lip singing this song as she's clearly high. I thought it was a hilarious scene and really well acted and choreographed by Zendaya. That I really thought was absolutely hilarious. But she's kind of just all over the place. She's still taking drugs. She has a huge conversation. We had Dominique Feek's character, who I'm trying to get the name of. I'm so sorry, I missed his character's name. Elliot. It's kind of a love triangle between Elliot, Rue, and Jules, which is made for a really interesting dynamic. How he clearly has a crush on Rue, but he also kind of explained all of his feelings on why he could also fall in love kind of with Jules. And at the end of the episode, and it feels like they all just have a love for each other because Rue sees a lot of things in Elliot. They see a lot of each other in the 3 of them. And it comes up, and this will be a huge storyline you can tell this season of who's going to be a couple. Rue and Jules have been kind of the thing, but now Elliot's kind of stepping in saying, I'm kind of in love with Rue. Then kind of basically explored how he kind of likes Jules as well, all these different things. And it could just be in a friendship way or romantic way, but I think there's a lot of different ways they can take the 3 of them. And they become a very fascinating dynamic. But, Rue asks for Fez for advice. Fez slams the plan right away. Rue goes to the opening episode's house where she basically got almost raped in the opening episode of the season, to ask the woman who ran that whole plan. But again, Rue said, I'll take your money. You'll be good for it. And the woman said, if you don't pay my money back, I'll kidnap you and do everything I need to do to get my money back. And it just puts Rue in such a hard situation. Then Rue takes the money with a suitcase all the way down to her clinic. And that's where Coleman Domingo's character, and their biggest conflict this episode, where Rue kind of used all of the facts, and that a whole special episode of, Coleman Domingo's character telling her everything about him and using that against him. Really rough scene between the 2 of them. Because he really is always there for Rue, and Rue kind of flipping his truths to her was really heartbreaking to watch. But let's just get to the end of the episode. Also, Barbie for a cat also has a funny scene where she's at dinner with her boyfriend's parents and her boyfriend, and she kind of one more authentic scenes in the episode. But let's get to the last episode scene, which is the big twist, is that Nate has continued to see Cassie every single Friday, and you see Nate driving the flowers. Cassie standing outside, and Nate texts Cassie that I have to do something. See you next week. And he goes with flowers to Maddie's, babysitting house. Really interesting. This has really become a love triangle because Maddie's clearly still falling in love with Nate, and Cassie has already just fallen in love with Nate. And Nate is kind of going between the two of them. Again, there's a lot of different love triangles, but there's also a lot of stuff that could be exposed. Again, if Maddie ever realizes that Nate is dating Kathy, which I think will happen this season, she'll release the tapes. So Nate has to keep it close to the vest because things are getting super intense on Euphoria. So once again, a fantastic episode of Euphoria. Please like the video, subscribe, ring the bell if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys soon.